Greetings, loyal subjects of the Imperium of Man. I am Librarian Elias of the Adeptus Astartes. I am creating a series of recordings with the intent of educating the general populace of the dangers of the galaxy. All of this information comes from the Lexicanum, provided to me by the Adeptus Mechanicus. I will be reading verbatim from their archives. This recording will cover one of the many allies the Imperium had. Primarch of the 10th Legion, Ferrus Manus. Ferrus Manus, the Gorgon, was one of the 20 Primarchs created by the Emperor before the Great Crusade. He led the Iron Hands Space Marine Legion. During his time on the world of Medusa, Manus's hands became encased in a hard metallic substance, and he became known for his iron resolve and disdain for weakness. Just like his brothers, Ferrus was stolen away by the forces of chaos, and he spent the first years of his youth on the planet Medusa. As a youth, he discovered an X mark on the pod that first brought him to this world, and that the chamber was too precise to be a natural formation. Exploring further, he discovered runes and electroconductive stalagmites all around the chamber. His inspections awakened an imprisoned, colossal, biomechanical worm-like creature which attacked him and escaped. Ignoring his attacks, he followed its path of destruction and swore he would destroy the beast he had unwittingly released. When he reached the surface, he saw other men in the distance, but wouldn't reveal himself to them, instead keeping his recent oath in mind. Over time, Ferrus had gained a significant legend to the clans of Medusa. The storm giants of the Karashi Pinnacle called him the Cataclysm. Due to his unleashing of the worm, he was also known as the Hunter. The Phantasmagoria dubbed him the Finality. The Mecharachnes and phase wraiths that sought him out had seemed to classify him as Ryu Nijir, or Son of Man. Meanwhile, the supplement had called him the Flesh. Years later, Ferrus walked unscathed and fully formed from the mountains where he had encountered the roaming clans and tribes of Medusa. Ferrus would not join these tribes as many of his brothers did. Instead, he sought out physical challenges to make himself stronger and more resilient. These tests ended with his battle against the Great Silver Worm, Basirnoth, a metallic beast impervious to harm, with Ferrus only managing to kill the beast by drowning it in magma. The melted flesh of the worm fused to Ferrus's flesh, giving him the true metal hands his legion would take its name from. Ferrus returned to the tribes and lectured them on technology. The clans advanced at a stunning pace, and Medusa prospered. But Ferrus took care to leave the inter-clan rivalry and fighting by never taking sides, as he saw the competition between them as healthy and good. The Emperor finally came to Medusa, and Ferrus Manus tested himself in a cataclysmic battle that is said to have laid waste to entire mountains. Finally, having found someone equal, Ferrus accepted the Emperor as his master and took command of a legion of space marines. Ferrus met his brother Fulgrim early on, and initially was disdainful of the Phoenicians' appreciation for art and culture, seeing it as a waste of time when a galaxy needed to be conquered. Fulgrim jokingly referred to Ferrus as the Gorgon, a reference to the mythical Terran creature whose ugliness turned men into stone. The title ultimately stuck. During the Great Crusade, thousands of planets would fall to the remorseless Iron Hands under Ferrus's leadership. Each weak link in humanity was to be purged if mankind was to grow stronger. Scholars spoke of the wave of piety and faith that spread before the Iron Hands, with many planets suddenly motivated to look into themselves when they heard that the Iron Hands were approaching. During the Great Crusade, the Iron Hands battled the human Diasporex alongside the Emperor's children. This was symbolic of the bond shared by Ferrus Manus and the Emperor's children Primarch Fulgrim, who were close friends. However, during the conquest of 1544, he received visions from the Eldar, alluding to his eventual demise at Fulgrim's hands. Distrustful of the Xenos, Ferrus rejected the prophecy. Ferrus was one of the 4 Primarchs, primarily referred to by Rabute Gilliman as the Dauntless Few, the 4 of his brothers who most exemplified their father's design, and whose legions reflected their best qualities. Ferrus did not get along with all of his brothers, however. During the Astrani campaign, he had a severe dispute with Rogal Dorn over what should become of the Astrani machine empire. Ferrus, alongside his mechanical backers, wished for the civilization's destruction as heretics, while Rogal Dorn wanted them assimilated into the larger Imperium. Ultimately, it fell to Horus Lupercal and an honored duel to settle the dispute, which resulted in the Astrani machine empire being mostly destroyed had Horus not intervened. Before the heresy, Fulgrim approached Ferrus Manus and tried to lure him to join Chaos. Ferrus Manus was so enraged at this proposal that he attacked Fulgrim. A short duel took place where Ferrus destroyed Fulgrim's sword Fireblade, the same weapon Ferrus had given to him many years before. Fulgrim escaped after rendering Ferrus unconscious, leaving him alive, but taking with him the massive Thunderhammer Forgebreaker he himself had created for his brother. The Iron Hands were one of the loyal legions of the Emperor that were called to Istvan V. Given the large distance, Ferrus Manus took the legion's fastest ships and departed with only his veterans. However, this was a trap, as the Dropsite Massacre would occur here. Most of the Iron Hands Ferrus brought with him would die in this battle. Following the loss of their Primarch, they were struck down by the traitor legions, caught between the hammer of the Emperor's children and a puppy anvil of the full support legions, the second wave. Ferrus Manus would ultimately fall to Fulgrim, as the traitor Primarch would strike down his brother. Using the demon weapon he acquired fighting the Leia, Fulgrim would deliver one strike that would cleave Ferrus's head from his body. Fulgrim, however, was distraught with grief that his closest brother was dead by his own hand, and was soon thereafter possessed by the demon within the sword. The possessed Fulgrim then delivered Ferrus's head to Horus. This would mark Ferrus Manus being one of the first major casualties of the Horus heresy. After his death, when Gilliman heard report that Ferrus had fallen, along with Vulcan and Corvus Corax, he lamented that of the 3, he would miss Ferrus most of all, with Gilliman saying, "Now, it seems he is gone, dead, brother, friend, warrior, leader, Ultramar's most stalwart ally." Later during the heresy, as Horus fell deeper and deeper into chaos, and his mental state perhaps began to deteriorate, he took the skull of Ferrus Manus, mounted it on his throne, and began to increasingly speak to it. During their one-sided conversations, Horus lamented that he only had bloody-handed tyrants, mass murderers, and demons for his generals, instead of strategists and men of duty like Ferrus. During the final climactic struggle of the war within the Webway, the Emperor summoned the souls of fallen heroes of the Imperium to serve as an army against the demonic hordes. Ferrus was reanimated as a blazing specter and briefly fought at the Emperor's side. Since the Horus heresy, Clan Cargill, the 4th company of the Iron Hands, maintains that Ferrus Manus will return one day when the Emperor needs him once more. To this end, they maintain Eternal Warden over the Karashi Heights of Medusa, awaiting his return. The other clans do not have the heart to impede the Cargill in this, for as long as they maintain their vigil, hope remains. 10,000 years later, in the 41st millennium, a demon knight of Slanesh taunted Iron Hand Sergeant Naeem Morvox on Shardenis, a hive world, claiming that it had seen Manus's head, and that it is still screaming. On the world of Dreor, Inquisitor Kindbad, accompanied by a companion named only as Scarborn, uncovered an ancient obelisk detailing a pact made between Gilliman, Dorn, and the Shattered Iron Hands Legion. In return for their adherence to the nascent Codex Astartes, the Iron Hands will return the skull of Ferrus Manus. How exactly Gilliman and Dorn retrieved the skull is unknown, As of M41, Ferrus's skull is rumored to be at the center of the Eye of Medusa, upon an altar watched over by a Hellfather who does not eat, drink, sleep, or blink in his ceaseless watch of the Primarch. There are rumors that following the Dropsite Massacre, a mentally volatile Fulgrim would have Fabius Bile, chief apothecary of the Emperor's children, clone Ferrus. However, these clones proved unstable and each refused to turn against the Emperor, forcing Fulgrim to once again kill his brother and driving him even madder. Though not a clone, a group of extreme Iron Fathers, the Iron Hands calling themselves the Cult of the Gorgon, attempted to resurrect Ferrus shortly before the Siege of Terra, in an attempt to control the Iron Hands' remnants and oppose the legitimacy of Shedrang Medusan. The Cult of the Gorgon somehow acquired one of the metallic arms of Ferrus and attached it to a heavily armored and cloaked mechanical puppet. This shameful construct was destroyed by Vulcan. The war gear of Ferrus Manus was primarily the Thunderhammer Forgebreaker, crafted for him by Fulgrim. Manus wore a finely wrought suit of cataphractic pattern Terminator armor, known as the Medusan Carapace. More than a simple suit of armor, it possessed many servo mechanisms and support system. He was also seen fighting with a wrench-shaped power weapon. This concludes the information regarding Ferrus Manus. More in-depth information regarding him will be recorded at a later date. This is Librarian Elias, signing